silence in your eyes that I never learned to name. Like a moment out of time, with no reason, no escape. I don't reach, I don't resist. I just let the feeling stay. Every breath becomes a rhythm, pulling me a different way. We don't need to understand what we're holding in this space. If it's real, it won't be broken. It will find its way to stay. Stay, don't speak, let it move underneath. Every heartbeat you keep finds me deep. Hold, don't chase, there's no time, no place. In the dark we embrace what we face. Stay, don't speak.
All right. Let me actually put my camera on. I was like, why is my camera not there? Happy Friday, everyone. Let's drop on the chat how we feeling today. Are you feeling blessed? Are you feeling energetic? Are you feeling abundant? I'm feeling abundant and resilient. I had a major breakthrough this week. I went to church and I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you guys real quick. There was a Holy Spirit night going on at my service in church, and there was I shared this actual photo in many of the chats, and he said, let me actually go back to it because the message was really good. Um, and I'm gonna go ahead and share why this is something also that we're going to talk about it today. It says, "Do I live in alignment with what I have access to?" This is what the message was on the screen at church, and that really put me in a perspective. I'm like, am I really am? It's like, are we really doing things that are in alignment with what we have access to? So then they ended up passing a key and with a marker. And then they said, write down the first word that you have that comes into your head that you have access to that you have not really unlocked the doors for. Sometimes we pray for opportunities, pray for positions, pray for rooms to be part of, and we have everything that we need, we have, to have gain access to get inside the door, and we have the key, but are we really opening that door, or are we leaving that key in the table? Many people leave the key in the table and I grab the key to open the door that's really in front of us. So I decided to go ahead and put this on. My phone is with me everywhere. It's like I decided to put it on my keychain that I have in the bottom in this. And this is, as everyone knows, I'm always everywhere, and sometimes I'd be like, "Where's my phone? Where's my phone?" So I decided to create a leash for my phone. So and I put the key in here as a reminder every time that I'm around to not forget of the access that I have in order to go ahead and continue opening the doors. And I am so grateful that I get to go ahead and open doors with you guys. It's like if you have your key, I want to open it with you. It's like if you have the big door, but you don't have the key, let's find someone who has a key so that we can open that door for you. So I'm very blessed and grateful for you guys too. Jessica says, I'm blessed and grateful for this amazing community and leaders. Judah says, feeling energized. Sis, give me some of the energy. It's like I took a cup of coffee this morning and I said, you know what? Let me relax on my caffeine because I want to have my second cup of coffee at 2 p.m. and now I'm drinking water. So I need more energy. Probably I'm going to end up having 3 cups. I'm like shaking my head, shaking my head. So my sis, I'm grateful for you, Claudia. And it's like, and thankful, I'm thankful for you too, Adonis, and thankful for everything that you have gone. And happy belated birthday to you too. So oh, the quote from church. Yes, I got you. It said, "Do I live in alignment with what I have access to?" Again, do I live in alignment with what I have access to? And really, that right there got me to thinking, okay, what can I share that I have access to that I really haven't really much talked about? And it's two things. The first one, it will be talking about Canva, like little features and how can you utilize Canva to your best advantage to your content. And two, the content pillars. Sometimes, we feel stuck of what we're doing. We feel stuck like as far as I have videos, but I don't want to, film more videos. I have photos, but I don't know how to package it. How many times have you seen that you have about maybe 10, 20 videos and photos in your phone and you're stuck and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go ahead and begin. I don't even know where to go ahead and go through. Do I do a voiceover? Do I do a face to face? Do I drop it where? It's like, and then sometimes we end up doing the consistency work, but we only see maybe one fo new follower in a span of 30 days or 60 days. And you're like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not being discovered? What is it that about my views that are still staying low and not gaining any traction? And today we're going to go ahead and cover that a little bit. So first we're going to go ahead and cover about the pillars, and then we're going to go into packaging your actual thing. Let me actually go back into my screen here so that I can share with you guys. Because what we're going to do is we're going to create a little easel, and I'm going to go ahead and write this with you guys. So on your piece of paper, when you make taking notes, let's make sure we write this four pillars. So it's the content routine system. This is, how we have our CRM for our leads for anyone new. This is your CRS. This is pretty much where you're going to go ahead and write down and write all your main content that you're trying to go ahead and create. It's like they're the main drivers are things, it's like that you're gonna end up really, it's like your basics of your creator of your career. You're gonna choose a piece of content, and all of this deliver what will change depending on what your goal is in the content creator. So what does that mean? It's like sometimes, we get stuck as far as what is my base foundation of what type of content it is. So the content, it's like as a content creator, you have to go ahead and create a goal of what you are creating as far as putting out there as your personal brand. So let's go ahead and go into the four most common drivers that it is. It's like, so the first one, that we're going to go ahead and type in here, it will be, let me actually grab the tool that I need to in here so that way I can type it in with you guys. So the first one will be income. Let's say, it's like your main goal for your actual, it's like content will be income. That could be an affiliate income, or it could be something that we do here in Alpha. It could be something, it's like that is going to generate income to you. Okay. So now let's go into, let me make sure that I create another box here for you guys so it looks nice and neat. It's like, and then the next one will be something that as far as, it's like, what is it that you want to like generate as far as, um, how can I put this into perspective so that way it makes sense? It's like let's say, it's like your leads, okay? It's like are you looking to go ahead and stay in touch with your audience? So I'm going to go ahead and call this the how can I call this to make it easier for you guys to understand? Make it so that way we're not like, oh my God, what is this? It's like, and I don't want to just have leads, but we'll pull it our email list. You know how we constantly were talking about on Beacons, it's like creating your email list. It's like every time that you download something, it's like collect their email. The reason why I say this is because if for some reason something happens to a certain platform, okay? Let's say TikTok ends up shutting down. and then you were so into TikTok, you had a great following. That was one of the platforms that was big because, it almost happened here. How would your audience stay connected to you if they never ended up following you on Instagram? Or let's just say something happens on Instagram and now you're like, how do I stay connected with them if now I want to go ahead and grow on YouTube? So your email list will go ahead and have your audience follow you wherever you are. Have you ever noticed that, certain, it's like content creators end up posting or
Intention.
going somewhere, and then you're like, what is it that I need to, how do I stay connected? And they ended up growing another platform. It's like that's pretty much what they're doing. They're staying connected with their audience through email list. So every major Fortune 500 company does that, and it stays connected to their audience. The next one that we're going to talk about is your platform, okay? Which one are you going to go ahead and focus on? It's like this is where you're growing and nature it. You have to pick one that you pretty much want to go ahead and stay with consistently as far as growing that. Now, remember, Instagram is for business, lead generation. Think of it, your resume, your website. That's what Instagram is. If you really want to just post about lifestyle, then go on TikTok. Why? TikTok, each video holds its own content and its own niche for that specific video. It does not relate it to the rest of your videos. As opposed to Instagram, what it does, it niches down to the audience that you're talking to. So let's just say if you were into fitness, right? You're a fitness instructor and you wanted to go ahead and target, single moms that have, it's like no life, but just the kids and all the stuff. So that's where niching down is for Instagram. As opposed to on TikTok, she can talk about her fitness journey, but she can also talk about her life being a mom. She can talk about vacation. She can talk about so forth. So just remember, which platform do you want to go ahead and grow naturally, and organically for your audience to go ahead and continue following you. And then your post becomes more intentional as far as how you connecting with them. It's like, and then the last one will be something that we have that you're just like the main driver behind a piece of content, okay? And that is you. Okay, so you're the next driver. You're the main driver because people are following you because of you. They're not following you because of, G-Food. They're not following you because of Alpha. They're not following you because of trading. They're following you because of you, of who they found, right? It's like, and this right here will go ahead and create, some type of passion projects for you, to go ahead and grow your content. And we all have these in our albums, in our photo albums, it's like, and then sometimes, we end up creating boxes that are not there. These are the four most common ones that people are missing out on what they have already in their photo album and how to go ahead and really be staying consistent on it. It's like sometimes people are being super more creative and then they're like, I lost my niche, so I lost my passion, I lost what I was doing. And it's because they stepped away from the most common things that people are looking for when it comes to creating things, it's like as far as content goes. So now let's talk about pillars, okay? Pillars are the ones, that are your content buckets, okay? So they pretty much help you make sense of your niche, make sense to go ahead and actually follow through. It's like I'm not going to dive into niche because niche is a really lengthy, it's like uh, content. Subject that we will go ahead and be here for 2 hours. I'll be honest with you because we'll need to go ahead and find out exactly how your niche is and how to niche it down so that you can find yourself. We can go ahead and talk about that next week if you guys want to. But it's like as far as your pillars, it's like are your subtopics of what you're creating your content for your niche. It's like we're not going to go ahead and get on detail on it, but you guys gonna get an idea. But if you really want to go ahead and go and talk about a little bit more about niching down, we can definitely create that training for next week. And then it's like, and we could tell you what is the great way for your industry or for the things that you really want to talk about. It's like, and that right there will go ahead and give you more light to your pillars. Okay, so let's just say for example. for this one, let's go back into the fitness, part of the person. Let's just say this is what it is. Let's say, the mom that's it's like into fitness and teaching about fitness. Let's just say she's talk about her first pillars into macros. It's like how to go ahead and create macros for fitness. It's like, then let's just say, for example, the next pillar that she has, it's creating workout videos, talking about workouts. What are great workouts for single moms, they're with a busy schedule. Think of it like when you having a busy schedule, what is it that's something that you already found, like a shortcut that will help other, it's like form of tips, that as well, these are actual other pillars that you can create for someone who is doing, like as far as, let me make sure that I'm not doing this. Come on. Um, and then, it's like creating, content for it. So let's go into the last one. And the last one, let's just say, the person is doing recovery, after working out, what are the best recovery for you so you can continue staying energized? And let's say, it's like, let me actually put up like here, example. This is a fitness. So that way you're not thinking that these are for the pillars that you have to create if your niche is something else. Okay. So this right here will go ahead and help you out to go ahead and create the content, and it's going to go ahead and make sense. It's like, and then it helps you stick to a path. How many times have you seen a content creator, and let's just say, for example, they're doing the same thing. And you're like, I don't want to watch this. I already seen this same type of content before. They have the same, oh, here's 5 tips for this. Oh, here's 10 tips for this. Here's for this. And you're like, lady, give me something else besides your tips. Like, give me something that I could go ahead and continue watching you. It's like, and it comes down to the way you deliver. It's like, in which it can create a video into something that is going to go ahead and be like, wow, this is different. It's like, I like the style because they're doing something that is not the same every single time. And how is that done? It's like you're delivering. Let me make sure I change the color for this. Okay. And then let's say, the first delivery will be something face to camera content. Face to camera content is something like what we're doing right now. My face is in my camera, I'm chatting, I'm talking, and that's one way of delivering. It's like, and then oftentimes, the face to camera is the one that really people like to go ahead and stay to, because now they feel connected to you. They see your expressions, they hear you. It's like, they're like, oh, this is real life. This is her. This is not someone fake. This is not an AI bot, for example, and it's like, so now they're like, okay, this feels authentic. Okay. Now we're also, have like another way that you can do. Sometimes we have a lot of videos that we can repurpose. It's like, but you don't like what it says right there, but you want to create that content over again for something else, that will be a voiceover. Let's just say it's you and a family member cooking, it's like, and that content was great for TikTok. Let's say it was a lifestyle cooking, video that you created, but you want to repurpose that video and put it on your Instagram for your niching down. And now you can do a voiceover of this. Let's just say for the fitness part, right? And I was like, hey, it's like, let's just say it was you and your mom, right? My mom and I are creating, healthy tips, I mean, healthy meals for our family. It's like, and this is what it looks like behind, behind the kitchen and stuff. So that's really what we need to go ahead and like what the voiceover we could do. You can really repurpose so many videos using the voiceover. I'll give a shout out to Claudia when she first started doing her content. She did an amazing, beautiful voiceover of her and her son. That was beautiful to go ahead and watch. So definitely you could always do, like that. And then the next one is B-roll. Now, what is B-roll? B-roll is really content that I know we talked about the app called Captions, because that's AI helping me to go ahead and create. That's something that you're really pretty much talking about as far as a story on the camera, but it's showing you the feeling of it. Okay, so let me go ahead and separate this real quick, and because you guys gonna hear me later on talk about a roll. Okay. And then a role, what it means, it's you storytelling, or you're speaking on the camera, right? That's a role alone. B-roll is pretty much is you showing your expressing your story. Have you probably seen videos of where someone says, it's like, yes, it's like I was so focused and concentrated, and I was typing away, it's like, and then all of a sudden the video goes into someone typing, it's like as you hear the story, there's images and stuff like that. That's what B-roll is, and really B-roll is very intentional because now you're keeping your audience entertained on something that you are creating, it's like, and you can create that B-roll in a lot of places, that it goes into the value, which we're gonna go dive into here shortly. But I wanted to go ahead and make sure that you guys understood the difference between A roll and B roll. It's like, and now that's going to go ahead and make sense as we go along with teaching other types of content that we could go ahead and dive into. It's like, and now the last one that we can go ahead and dive into is, it's like pretty much what is the way that you're going to deliver is the trends. It's like I'm not talking about you dancing on TikTok videos. I'm not talking about any of that. But trends, that are happening, probably some of you guys have seen trends like, oh, the cow ended up falling down the hill, and then all of a sudden someone is literally rolling and then saying, hey, this happened. Or, it's like something was falling on somebody and then they react later right after they really mesh that type of content together. It's like this type of trend. Another type of trend is creating trendy music that is trending right now that is pushing your content up. Another way of trending is, transactions. You're probably having a conversation and you're doing your makeup, and then you're like, okay, let me go ahead and close my window and then I open it up and show my new makeup. Those are type of trends that are happening, and it's like not necessarily about TikTok, but it's something that you can create for your content that you're creating. It's like, let's say even lip syncing part of the song, it's like that is literally happening and people are like, oh, what is this? And all of that. So that will be part of your, like as far as your deliveries. Now let's talk about the four main pillars when it comes to value. There are all different type of value, but as a whole, it's like we need to go ahead and make sure what is the best value that is out there. So that way now you're able to go ahead and make this easy for you. Now, let the first one, let me actually put another box in here in a different color as well. Let me put these down here, and then we're gonna make this orange. There we go. And then the first value is education. As you guys know, I love educational videos. Because now you are captivating your audience, and now they're learning something from you. That is really, it's like a way to share value, and now they're learning something. What's another a way to learn is through entertainment. Entertainment. Let me make sure that I was spelling it right. And then it's like entertainment is, it's another way of giving va value. It's like people have fun. It's like there's ways that you could go ahead and have a good time. It's like showcasing it and still give value through there. And then the next one will be, it's like the next value will be something that is relatable. Are you giving them a relatable story? It's like if you're going through an amazing time, say let's go back into the fitness mom, it's like relatable. It's like if you're having it's like a fitness journey, let's say as a mom, are you also being relatable with other moms? It's like, will they be able to go ahead and follow you? Will be they able to go ahead and be like, oh, I'm feeling seen, That's what relatable pretty much what it is. And then the next one will be inspirational. It's like you guys know that I don't even like using the word motivation because motivation is a temporary feeling. So, the last one will be more of inspiration. Are you inspiring your audience? Are they really growing with you? Are they really creating that type of ability to go ahead and say, yes, this is what I've been wanting to go ahead and stay inspired by. So now, how do I use my content routine? I'm not telling you, hey, you're gonna go from your income and you make, create, your pillared one or your Facebook comment. No, what we're doing is from this video that you're doing, you can go ahead and now, let me actually grab this. Okay, you from there, you could go ahead and make like an income video into a tip about workout, right? And let's say, from the workout, what kind of delivery do I want it to be? Let's do a voiceover because if I'm working out, it's like I don't, I don't want to have the camera breathing heavy. Okay, perfect. It's like so, and then from the voiceover of the workout, when I'm teaching somebody how to go ahead and do the workout, what can I do? It's like, let's make that relatable. You could go ahead and just talk on your voiceover, talk about, hey, it's like, this is the 5 minute routine that I use because my life is so busy, but I do save 5 minutes to go ahead and do a 5 minute workout. How does that relate to my income? If I'm teaching somebody, it's like, you want to learn more tips or anything, it's like going to my link in my bio, sign up to my email list or download, my ebook, like the ebook that we learned about last week. It's like now you created a funnel through that. Okay, so now let's say, it's like you really want to stay on the workout video. Perfect. So now let's go into let's say it's like talk about something that is relatable about you. It's like then it's like, why did you start the workout journey? It's like now it's the workout journey. But instead on this being a voiceover, now you go into face the camera. This is the reason why I went into my workout routine because I really needed more time to be, it's like spend time with my family, but at the same time, I didn't have time for myself. So now you could go ahead and talk about it. It's like, and make that into, instead of being face to camera, I mean, to relatable, now you make it entertainment. Now you could go ahead and create entertainment. Like, look, this is what I do. I pick up my kid, and I work out with my kid up and down, now you're making an entertainment for them. And we're like, yo, I'm like, not only is that part of it also relatable to them, but now it's entertaining because you're like, yo, I never thought that I can also use my kids to help me stay work out. Let's say, for example, yesterday my niece came over. I don't know what got into her, and I feel like my brother ended up giving her a bunch of, candy or sugar. I don't know, because she was super hyper. And, it's like, and then yesterday, it was like, I was like, I should have just filmed this. It's like we were going up and down the stairs, it's like nonstop because we were playing also hide and seek, we were playing tag, it's like, and then I was like, literally this morning, I woke up sore and I was like, why am I sore? And I'm like, oh, yeah, yesterday I thought I was 5 years old with the other 5 year old running around the house, it's like, and now it created entertainment, So this will go ahead and create the routine, just how we have our CRM, we have our CRS, that creating routine of systems. And that video that for me running all over and stuff like that, now I could go ahead and have being able to go ahead and create it. Hey, want to learn how it is to go ahead and, it's like build a business with, let's just say being, it's like an entrepreneur from home, with your kids at home, and I was like, this is what I do, to go ahead and entertainment. This is are the tips to help me to go ahead and stay fit, throughout the journey. So this is I just created an example out of fitness. You can create a lot of different content based on the niche that you want to dive into. It's like, so if it's something about, being a soccer mom, and said, for example, let's talk about my oldest, niece, she is into soccer. She is going to college. She got into the D2 league, but D2 league is going to be a 2 year program so that she can get to D1. We're excited for her for that. But let's just say, for example, I want to create an income out of it. It's like, and I want to just like create tips, it's like, hey, it's like as we're helping her, to go ahead and pay this tuitions, pay all of this journey, it's like I'm also creating a business that I'm going to help you. My ebook will help you to create the ebook. So how I'm growing my income, so that way you're able to go ahead and grow your the savings or be able to pay off tuitions. I'll do that with a trendy music, so that way not only will I be able to appear on the moms or on the aunts or the the legal parent, I'm sorry, who is part of taking care of that child, but it also will probably appear on that teenager, and then the trend, and they get to go ahead and see it as a trend, and now I could go ahead and becomes inspirational. It's like, so that way now they're like, wow, this is something that we can do as a family, help out and so forth. So we can really do all of that as far as CRS system. Does that make sense? You guys can type a one in the chat. I want to make sure that this completely makes sense to you guys. Or if you have questions, let's type it in because really, it's like this is going to go ahead and generate easy 90 days of content by using only four type of content that are already sitting in your phone. We already have them. And yes, you can do this with your photos as well. Awesome, awesome, perfect. Okay, so now let's go into diving into Canva. How do I create this? But I can also use Canva to do my packaging, right? No, like, the mix of options is awesome. Yes, sis, it's like this right here. The only thing that obviously that you're gonna go ahead and write this for your own is your pillars. Remember, it's like I'm just giving you the example of fitness, but you gotta create your pillar one, two, three, and four. You have to really, and if you want, I can always dive in what is your niche, and we can talk about what would your pillars look like. This is literally more custom to yourself. But outside of that, the main the drivers, the delivery, and the value are going to stay the same. Okay. So now let's dive into Canva. Now, as you guys know, I love Canva as far as when it comes to creating a lot of great things. The reason why I love it is because you can do anything and everything. You can create a YouTube packaging startup. You could go ahead and do social media packaging. You can do not just, your business cards. You could go ahead and do so many things out of Canva. And then sometimes when people get slept on. I do have the pro version. I believe it's $14 a month. It's like, and literally, it's like it helps me to go ahead and do a lot more than that. So let's just say, for this specific purpose, we're gonna go dive into social media and then I'll show you guys something else. When you click on the social media, this will pop up. You could go ahead and go into Instagram story, Instagram post, and you can see the YouTube video. You can do your packaging for your YouTube, not just the covers of so people can click, but when they start the video, what is the first thing they see? It's like LinkedIn videos as well. LinkedIn is starting to go ahead and be popping as well. So you could go ahead and do a lot of great things from it. But let's say for the look, even TikTok video in here. But TikTok, to me, TikTok video and Instagram story are pretty much the same size. So you really could go ahead and just use one. So I'm for this specific guidance, we're gonna cover about Instagram story and Instagram post. On your Instagram story, this will go ahead and be covered um for your actual reels, okay? Because a lot of people are like, oh my God, I want to go ahead and create a cover, but sometimes our video is cut off and it's us with our mouth open if we're doing a face to camera, right? Or this is not the part of that I wanted to cover my cover to look like. When you finish uploading your reel, at the bottom it tells you you have the option to scroll part of the reel where you want it to go to, or you can go ahead and click, hey, add from your roll camera. And this is what I like to go ahead and use the most. So let me go and upload something that I have. Let me see a photo, for example. Let's use Tia for this tutorial. Let's see, I want to create something with her on. Let me make sure that is the size of it. I don't use, it's like most people it's like, why don't you use set image to the background? Because we're going to create a lot of layers behind it. Okay, so let's just say this is your photo. Okay, and now from your photo I want to create text above it. So we're going to go ahead and go into, let's do a black transparent box. So we're going to go into, let's see all here. I like this right here. And then, it's like, let me put this together at the top just so that way it darkens the area around, but not her. Okay. So now let's go into maybe what is the topic of her thing. I love what you guys going to put. It's like, I'm going to put DCEO, right? That's what we're going to go ahead and put as far as one of her topics. Let me change the font. Let's say this is the font that I want. Let me create it in white so that way it looks better. And then let's say I want this to be this size. But then I also want a little bit of more, how did you add? Oh, the back, I went into elements and I clicked black transparent at first on the all. And instead of going into photos, I went into graphics. I clicked see all. And then I picked one. This is the one that I ended up picking. And if you notice the ones with the crowns, that means that's, the Canva Pro plan. That's why, it's like I like paying for it so that way I'm not limited on the things that I'm creating here. So let's say, it's like this is the one that I want. Oh, I saw something in here that I thought this is where we're gonna go ahead and start being a little more creative. No, I don't like this. Okay, so let's say this is the one. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this. Now what I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna click effects. I'm gonna go into the halo one. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into my positions. Positions is where you get to go ahead and see the layers because it's going to first show you the arrangements. But you want to click layers. And let's go into, let's say this right here. We're going to go ahead and duplicate her photo. Now I'm going to bring it back to where, it's like where it is next to her. I'm going to click that second video. I'm gonna click edit and I'm gonna remove the background. So it's just her. And if I go back to positions and then I just want to move, see, it's just her, right? So let me go back in here. That's her. Now I'm gonna go grab the CEO part. I'm gonna grab it here. And let's actually move that CEO to the top so that way it's right behind her. And let me move the darkness so the darkness is not covering the CEO part. And then now let's just, again, grab the CEO again, put it a little higher, grab it up here, and now align it with that part right there. Now go back into effects. I love that, but I think it's too thick. So let's make sure that it's not so thick. Let's make the thickness a little lighter. And now I'm able to go ahead and just have her like this. I can actually move the photo if I wanted to make it different. It's like you could go ahead and, the CEO, it's like, and then you can go ahead and do another typing and then you could put tips to launch your business. Okay. Now you could go ahead and grab that same font, change it, and let's just say that I wanted to have a handwriting one. And then let's go into this right here. Now back again, we're going to change it to a different color. Let's see, we're going to do this. And then instead of putting tips, I'm just going to, oh, actually, let's duplicate this to make it easier. So we grab it, we click duplicate, and then I'm just going to erase the bottom part. And then in here, I'm going to erase the top part, and I'm going to change this font right here for something else. Let me click, let's just say, let me go back from writing to, let's go back into this one right here. So I could go back in here. And now I created now let me make sure that it's about the same lunch size. Now I can group this together so that way I can move it wherever I want to. And now let me move it to the side to make it as a stamp. And now you have a new beautiful packaging for your reel. So instead of having a reel that talks about tips on how to launch your business, it's like now this could go ahead and be on the explore page. And now you click on it and it's like, wow, this looks, and it will look beautiful package on your page as well, on your actual grid. It's like, so that way now it's like, because if you just end up putting the photo, how do you want people to go ahead and go into it? And I really want you guys to go ahead and really look into your actual on your Instagram, and when you click on your Instagram and then you click the reels, only your reels, not your main grid. If you click only your reels, are your reels giving me something that I can read and I can click? Or are you reels only having a photo? Because I don't know what your reel is about. I want you to go ahead and give me the call to action for me to go ahead and click on the reel so I know which one I'm talking about. And if I know that you're creating those type of tips or you're creating those type of videos, if I'm showing somebody and they're like, oh, let me see which reel was it. I go in, it's like, and I'm going to your Instagram, I click on your reels, and then I see, oh yeah, this is the tips to launch your business. This is the tip that, this is the video I was telling you. You click on it, you show it to somebody, or you share that video to somebody. Now this becomes a perfect package. This is a way that you could go ahead and create it. This is starting to go ahead and create a movement behind it. Now you can also use on the text, different type of fonts that are already set here in the bottom. Oh, let me go back again. Text, see, they're already pre-done for you. It's like, let's just say um uh, let's do this one, right? Now all you do is, tips to grow. Boom. It's like, and now you have another one. And now from here, now you can change everything into the different colors. Go in here and to click on the actual thing, click the color, change it to white or change it to a different color. Let's just say, let's go a little more neutral. Let's do more lighter. Then we're gonna go gray, click effects. Now, when you click effects for the specific, you see there's other colors. You can change the color again. We're gonna make it black, and then the other color, we're gonna make it into, let's say, yellow. And now you have something that actually flows based on her photo, so it doesn't look like it's two different colors. That's the beautiful part about effects, that you can go ahead and go in there and start changing colors, being more creative, more according to how everything is going, making it more color coordinated to what you're posting. Okay, so that's packaging. That's packaging for your reels. Now let's go into how to go into, oops, let's go into Instagram post. Okay. Now on Instagram post, this is something that you could go ahead and put. Let's just say, let's go back into creating a carousel. And you can really do this. Let's just go back and put T again as an example. And let's move her a little bit more this way. And then, but I want my carousel to go ahead and go with everything else I have. So let me go ahead and click like this, click the add photo, add page. Now I grab that same one, photo, and now I change it. And now what I want her to be is like this way. And if you notice, now I'm creating, let me go into this side. So now I'm creating a little follow-up of where she was. So let's go back into the other grid and let me change it because it wasn't really much of her. And then let's just say it's that. And then I do another page, and then I could go ahead and write down my inspo quote, something that you heard. It's like, and then if you wanted to go ahead and be the same color as how it was before, you grab you click the white circle and click the little circle with all the different colors and click the little dropper, and I will go into, let's say, the black one, so it kind of goes with it, with what she already had in the background. And then I do the same thing in the background as well for her in there. It's already happened. So now I'm creating a carousel of her photo with the inspo quote. And then maybe I could go ahead and end it. Let's just say you have let me upload a flyer. Okay, let's just go into, let's say it was this flyer. Okay, so now, that's you promoting the call, right? It's like, for example, so you have that. And then now, how would that look? It will look like this. Inspo and inspo quote. Now you created a carousel if you wanted to do that. You should send this to her. I'm like, sis, this is for you to go ahead and start promoting our calls, right? So this is pretty much what a carousel will look like. You can also do, it's like do it as well. I didn't mean to do this. There we go. So what you can also do is add letters to this. So let's just say, let's put from 9, and then I'm gonna do it this way actually. From, and I will make this bigger, and I'm gonna change this into this, and I'm gonna create it into something more. And now I go into here, the advanced settings on the T right here. On advanced settings on the T, that gives me where my space is from this part. You see how much a lot of spaces between letters. So now I can always go into the line spacing and make them closer. So that way it doesn't look too crazy, that is too separate. And then I can put that together. And then I goes like from, and then I'll put, let's say, I do another from 9 to 5. I'm just giving you guys a quote ideas of what the recent calls we had. And let's just say it's another, oh, I don't know who's calling me. I have it on D&D, but they can wait. And then let's say we want this bigger. Perfect. And same thing, I grab the letter spacing, and make sure that I'm moving to the side where I can see it. Uh, 1 second, there we go. And then let's make sure that this is more settings, click on it. There we go, so I can see it from 9 to 5. Let's say it's like this, and then I go into effects, make it into something that is more popping, and then let's just say I want to duplicate this part. I grab it back here to the bottom, two, and then I'll do another part here, and then CEO. And then now you ended up creating a carousel that really now inspires other people, like, wow, this is something that I want to do. This is like something that I want to go ahead and create. Can you do the background cutout? Move layering one more time story. Oh, yes. I could go ahead and give you the example on this one. Let's say, for example, you want her to, let's just say she's here, right? And then you want her to go ahead and be in the middle of all this cutoff. What you do is you duplicate this part, go into positions, click edit first, and then click background removal. And then go into positions, go into layers. You want to make sure that the letter is there. And then let me see, that's the CEO part. And then make sure that she is aligned where it needs to. I grab the CEO, duplicate it, and then on the effects of that one, I click the halo part. And then let's just say I want to change the halo to maybe this color. And then go back into effects, the thickness, make it a little more light, smaller. And now I get to go ahead and put it on top. I think that brown might be a little too light. Let's change it to maybe a pink. Boom. And now I get to go ahead and see her that way. Let's just say you don't like where she's laying. So I just grab the first photo, move it a little bit more so that way she's more center. Grab her, the one with no background, align it, and it's there. You could do it that way, or what you can also do is add another photo in there. Let's say, let's say it's Miss Ross that's in there. I'll grab her and then I'll click back edit. Come on, wrong one. Here we go. Edit and then background removal. Make sure which position she's in. Perfect. And then let me just move her in there. And now I created another part of, it's like that might be a call for her, it's like of both of them in there. So Yeah, and it makes it so much more different, visual ways, it's like it's just layering. That's what it is. And the same thing if you notice there's some clips when it comes to reels that you see people talking and then all of a sudden the words are behind it. That's what it did. They did a layering. They duplicated that same video, but the only difference is like they removed the background for certain clips so the lettering could be in the background. It's like, or you can just go ahead and just remove that top part and then the letter is right there. But to me, I like it in the front so that way I can still see what I'm reading. Or you can make it smaller if you want to as well. Let's just say you grab those two. No, 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 no. That's not what I want. Go back, positions, and then let's grab this two right here, just for this right here specific purpose. Let's just say that I only want it there, but I know that that part is right here. I'm gonna grab her in between here, and then I'm just gonna remove this layering, and now you can see just the CEO in the back. You can do that in many different ways if you want to. It's just more of being creative behind. There's a lot of tools. I can do more on Canva. It's like tutorials as far as how to go ahead and be creative. But these are some of the ways that you can go ahead and guys create those type of covers or those type of content so that way now you get more views. You're not just creating reels of the same thing, you have variables. Now you have variables of how you posting your carousel photos. Now you have variables of how to go ahead and package your reel covers. And this goes the same way for anything that you end up putting, let's just say for YouTube shorts. This is also a way so you can upload it. If you have not got yourself into YouTube shorts, if you love making reels, definitely get into YouTube shorts. They're definitely popping as well. So it's something that you guys definitely want to go ahead and dive into. And then just remember, use your CRS. That will go ahead and get you infinite amount of content, especially since we are going to be in St. Louis. This right here, oh my god, you will have content until the end of the year by us being there together. The amount of stuff, content that is going to be filmed of you, content that you filming of others, content that photos and stuff like that you're going to be creating. This will be infinite, and you could go ahead and do this for this business, or you can do it for other things, other inspiration things that you guys want to do. So but yeah, it's like I'll love to go ahead and hear what you guys want to learn next week. We can talk about how to go ahead and continue growing your content views. What are the things that I can create with that? I could go and dive into what are other ways to, let's just say, receive free PR so I can build my UGC package. I can show you guys how to create it. Funny thing is, like, I'm going to do an unboxing of one. But that was, and they didn't ask me to go ahead and film it. I'm just doing it because I was like, oh my God, I got a free PR box of bunch of little traveling stuff. So you guys could go ahead and do that. How to go ahead and create that and build your UGC portfolio. We can do that. We can go into more ways to organize your content or how to plan it. So just send me, a message and I will go ahead and create that training for you guys next week. I know we have amazing other calls tonight. And if there's any questions, let me know. Be ready to use Kahoot tonight. I heard that we're going to use Kahoot tonight for our team game night. So be ready for it. I'm excited to see, and I want to see who's going to go ahead and beat who. I'm very competitive. So be ready for me to go ahead and be on it. All right. All right, guys. You guys have a beautiful Friday, and I'll check with you guys later. Bye.